Greetings, YouTube. You've probably heard people or news anchors or in articles, the phrases being thrown around like back when COVID was a thing or, when the pandemic was going on. Newsflash, the pandemic is still going on. COVID is the third leading cause of death in America right now. 1,000 people a week are dying in America because of COVID. Only 16% of Americans have gotten their full range of COVID boosters, main vaccine and all the boosters since then. But a vaccine-only strategy is not going to work because even though I have received every shot possible, I've had it twice. Haven't had to be hospitalized, and the second time was a heck of a lot later than the first one. The first one put me on the long hauler list. I now have tinnitus in my left ear. I have cognitive issues where I lose words, and I have increased fatigue. The increased fatigue, maybe that'll change over time. Maybe the tinnitus will go away. The cognitive issues are not. They're here to stay. COVID is dangerous. I lost my godfather to it. One of my coworkers lost her husband. 1,000 people a week. They've been doing testing, and they test the sewer systems for samples because you flush out, the antibodies and crap into the water, and so they're able to test how many they find, and that gives them an indication of, how many people in the area that they're testing have had COVID within a specific time period, and they're predicting that over the winter that start December 21st till the end of winter, there could be 100 million Americans that catch COVID. That's a third of the population. And even the ones that survive, like me, can have long-term effects, and I got lucky. My long-term effects are reasonable. I can live with them. Yeah, I lose words sometimes. I know the word. I know what I'm supposed to be saying. I know what the word means. I'm looking at the object, and I know what that object is. There's just a word-shaped hole inside my head, and I can't think of the word. Sometimes it's a person's name. Sometimes I will look at an object and literally not be able to tell you what this thing is called right here. It's a sheath. But there are moments when I couldn't tell you that. That's terrifying. I know. I experience it regularly now. And the tinnitus? When I'm doing things that have a reasonable level of background noise, listening to my headphones, or I'm at work and stuff, it's okay. But when there's no sound, like for example, right now, other than my voice, I can hear it loud and clear, and it doesn't ever go away. You don't want these things. You don't want the worst things, people who have reduced lung capacity. There are people who have heart problems because of the disease. And again, 1,000 people a week in America are dying. COVID isn't over. I wear a mask whenever I am inside a public building, and that includes my job. I run a 400-degree press 8 hours a day, and I have a mask on all the time unless I'm drinking water. And when I do that, I have gotten to the point where I reflexively stop breathing. I didn't even realize I did it till one day I put the mask back up and then I took a breath. And I realized, I've been doing that all along, haven't I? Because I don't want to hurt people. It is my responsibility. It is my public duty to keep the people around me safe. Even if they don't use vaccines, even if they think that COVID is fake, I don't care. I don't want to be complicit in making them ill, giving them long-term health, deficiencies, or potentially killing them. And if each of us did that, if each of us had just the smallest, teeniest modicum of concern for our fellow humans, we wouldn't have COVID right now. But we don't. lots of people have politicized a disease because they listen to some orange-skinned pedagogue preaching horse medication and injecting bleach and other insanities. Why do you politicize a disease? It's a disease. It does not care who you voted for. It does not care whether you are progressive or conservative. It will kill you just the same. All the disease wants is to propagate itself. And if it kills the hopes, so long as it's propagated itself, it doesn't matter. It's succeeded at its task. Stay alive. Spread the virus. Well, if you'd like to stay alive and not spread the virus, get your vaccines, because it'll make your ability to survive better, which means you're not putting a major load on the healthcare system. I never had to see a doctor. The first time I spent 3 weeks being miserable. For the first 72 hours I had COVID, I slept 60 of them. My wife thought I was dead on multiple occasions because I just was sleeping for so much. She would come into the bedroom and put the little oxygen meter on my finger to make sure everything was fine, and it was every single time. But I just couldn't move. I was so exhausted. You don't want this disease. And it's still here, and it's still killing, and it's still harming people, and some of them will never recover. And you have the capacity to help us end this. And if anyone legitimately leaves comments below this video about how it's a conspiracy, you are going to be gone so fast, you are going to get whiplash.